What is good? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are live once again. I went live earlier this morning just to talk about, general boxing talk and news. And I specifically wanted to wait, right, to talk about the post-fight reactions, my post-fight reaction as far as, the Charlo brothers, Brandon Figueroa, also a little bit of Josh Taylor and his opponent. Just a little bit, you know what I mean? And I wanted to go live this afternoon. I had it originally planned for Sunday to have the post fight, but I had to do some things. My apologies for that, definitely, man. I talked about that earlier this morning when I went live in the morning, and just my apologies. Things happened, things came up. You know how life is, right? So I couldn't make it yesterday. So I wanted to go live this afternoon, this evening, depending on the time that you're in. I think it's evening for most of you guys. So I want to break this down. I want to get into detail as far as what we saw in the pay-per-view event. Great fights, man. It was just action-packed. Like I said in the morning when I went live earlier, that I was about to fall asleep. Man. It was getting late, for the main event, man, for Jermall versus Derevyanchenko, man. I was just like, my eyes were closing. Yes, I'm getting up there in age, I guess, right? I just try not sleeping too late anymore. You know what I mean? Sometimes I can't sleep at night, as a matter of fact, but Saturday night was one of those nights, man. I was enjoying the card, man, enjoying the fights. Great fights, busy night of boxing. And man, my eyelids were just like, man, closing. So, but man, it was some great stuff, man. So first and foremost, I want to talk about Brandon Figueroa. We had originally planned, but like I said, man, my plans were kind of switched up on Sunday. Couldn't get to the post-fight reactions with Reggie Owens and Kurtis Anderson. They were already ready to go, but I couldn't do it, man. So my apologies again, man. So we got Kurtis Anderson in a moment. Hopefully he'll be jumping on so we can talk about the post-fight reactions, you know what I mean? And to get his input also, I'm sure all the platforms, you already know, all the platforms are talking about it. Already talked about, the post-fight reactions and what they thought of the fights, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of want to just talk about it now. I usually just wait a couple days. Sometimes I wait like a week or so, after fights. But I wanted to do it soon because these were just some great fights, you know what I'm saying? So I want to get to it, man. We just jumped in right now. We'll just wait a second, you guys. Hold on. We already see people jumping in the building, man. Thank you guys so much, man. So here we go. Kurtis, how you doing, bro? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Definitely, man. Definitely. You're good, man. You're good. How's your tablet going, man? You getting acquainted with it more? How's that going? I heard you just got a new tablet, right?
Yeah. Hey, I don't got to worry about running out of data because T-Mobile has a contract with the government where one device can't exceed over 50 gigabytes per month until your cycle restarts itself. Like my cycle starts the 9th of every month. It goes back to 0. But after 50, you can still get data, but it's going to become unstable and it's going to be weak, the signal. So, to combat that, they're smart. You have to get another phone or a tablet, and that gives you 50 more gigabytes. So it's like now I got 100 gigabytes, but the tablet was free because I've been on T-Mobile for so long and they was running a promotion, but I paid $25 extra. I'm paying for the data, but the tablet was free. That's like a $300 tablet. So I couldn't pass that deal up. So I'm on YouTube every day, and I was constantly running over my data at over 50 gigabytes. I experienced on your show that I had to get off because it was just too weak. But now with the tablet, when it works, it's funny with technology. Real quick, it works like side by side. Like when I got the tablet, Renee, I didn't even touch my calendar, but it gives me updates on every fight possible. And even when I go to the tablet, it has the fight dates and gives me notification. And I was like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to this calendar. It's like it's syncing itself.
Exactly,
but
man.
How the hell did they know? I don't know, Renee. I'm happy though. I'm not complaining because they gave me updates on Chavez fight. They gave me updates that ding, 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 and Charlo doubleheader tonight. Nice. So I like went to October, November, and every fight that's scheduled is on my calendar. I don't know. I'm happy. Thank you. I'm
That's
happy.
awesome, though. That's awesome, man. Yeah. I'm not too, I wish I were. I try to be, you know what I'm saying, as far as technology and these gadgets. And that's great, man. I wish I had that. I wish I had updates on fights and things like that in my calendar. I have no updates at all. So nothing of that nature. So, but that's great, man. That's good to hear, man. You're getting acquainted with your tablet, your calendar, and all that stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Kurtis, generally speaking, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm great, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Like I said, my schedule's getting a little. I'm getting my hands full recently. My semester, I'm back at my semester, fall semester, in my studies and my degree. So I got my hands full, but it's great, man. I'm doing great in general. Just had a great weekend, as you guys all did. With the pay-per-view card, man. I had a blast. It was just so much fun, even though I was falling asleep. Yeah, I was falling asleep. I think I called you yesterday, right, Kurt? Man, I was falling asleep late night, man. I mean, my gosh, I'm young, I guess, compared to other people, whatever. But man, I'm at that time where I got to respect my sleep times and my sleep patterns. You know what I mean? My eyes were about to shut closed, man, before the main event with Jermall Charlo and Derevyanchenko. My eyes were just closed, and I was laying there in bed, got my TV in front of the bed, and nice and comfy. But then when round one started, it was up. Adrenaline started pumping. The nerves started kicking in. I'm like, I'm up now. so generally speaking, Kurtis, one before we start, man, thank you so much again. Thank you so much for being here, Kurt. It's always an honor to have you. People are jumping in the building already, man. Thank you guys so much. Reggie Owens was gonna jump in, but he got busy at work too, man. It's all good. Just real quick, let me get to the chat real fast, man. To those who are jumping in, Soccer Training Club, thanks so much. Chen Smoke, what's good, family? Thank you so much, man. Wooly boy, slip and move. Hey, I think you're new. I think I haven't seen you. You can go ahead and subscribe, man. Show the love. Go ahead and put the likes up. Kenneth Johnson, as always, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Thank you. Wooly boy, slip and move, just in case you don't know the platform here, bro. It's one community, open platform here for all boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? We are one. It's all love here, man. And obviously, I'm sure you know who the Kurtis, the historian, is, aka the historian. So he's a common guest here, man. He's a common special honorable guest here, man. So let's get into it, Kurtis Anderson. Let's take advantage of time, man. I just really want to hear your input on this. Let's start with because I remember you mentioned I called you during the cards. When the card started, you know what I mean? Brandon Figueroa against Damian Vasquez. What's your general input on that fight, bro, with Brandon Figueroa?
Man, I mean, Brandon Figueroa is a handful, man. He's strong. He has a lot of stamina. He's durable. He'll hit you anywhere, to the body, to the head, with any punch. He's going to be a handful to beat. And Vasquez, I mean, he has heart, but the skill levels, what you seen in that fight, where there's levels to this boxing game. And even though he tried hard, and that was his game plan, he said he's going to be in Figueroa chest. You don't want to do that. You have to box Figueroa with a stiff jab, because he's a very determined fighter. He's strong, and he throws a lot of punches. And a guy like that can be very dangerous. I knew it was kind of big. I thought that would be a mismatch, and that's not a hating on Vasquez whatsoever, because he tried. He just wasn't good enough. Brandon Figueroa is a premier. He's a champion. He's a premier fighter. He's world class. It's levels, and Brandon Figueroa is just 2 or 3 levels better than Vasquez. He was taking a beating. I wanted them to stop the fight around earlier, because everything Brandon was throwing, he was hitting Vasquez, man. Sometimes you got to save a fighter from themselves, but he's very impressive, man. The heartbreak kid, man, with the, heartbreak kid looks, but I like Brandon, and I want to see him fight better competition.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, was it? I think we all agreed on that. I thought the same thing. Even the commentators down here in Mexican Broadcasting Television, I think it was ESPN or something like that. I don't remember. It's kind of weird. I think the channel here on ESPN airs PBC pay-per-view fights, so it's kind of weird with the channels. But the commentator said, man, they should stop the fight. And it was exactly when you said the commentator was even saying that, and I think a lot of boxing community that was watching the fight, they were thinking, man, stop the fight already before the fight, was stopped, or before Figueroa took him out. So if I'm not mistaken, was it in that fight where the referee pushed Figueroa down?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pushed him kind of hard.
It was, yeah, because those weights are light. A little lightweight division there. Super bantamweight. Those guys are young. Light guys. And it was funny because I was getting so into the moment, man. I was watching the fight, man, just adrenaline pumping, enjoying every second, every blow being thrown. Brandon Figueroa, his fights are just action packed. It's hard to get bored when he fights, man. And I was into it. And I was like, man, it's so action packed. The referee wanted some of that action, man. He pushed him down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now the commentators made a light joke of it. They said that's the only way you can get Brandon Figueroa down, by pushing him.
Right. Definitely, man. Definitely. So, speaking of Brandon Figueroa, he's definitely, like what you're saying, world-class fighter, man. Is it just me? I think I've asked you this before, but I don't remember, or I don't know if it was another live when I was on my own on a live where, with these weights, this is super bantamweight, if I'm not mistaken, where Brandon Figueroa fought. You got in that same card, Luis Neri, right? La Pantera, they call him in Spanish. And I've seen Neri, man, and it seems like he has some knockout power in that division. But generally speaking, in that division, it seems like fighters, man, they can just go on and on and on. They get punched in the face so many times. Brandon Figueroa, man, how many times hasn't he gotten punched in his fights? You go back and watch his fights, in his career. Just people generally speaking, fighters in that division, they just get hit so much. Is it just me, or does Brandon Figueroa need a little bit more punching power, in his fights? Because like in his punches, because Neri, you go back to Neri, I think if I'm not mistaken, Neri, he fought right before the main event, right? Neri, and he if I remember correctly, I think he was on an 11 knockout winning streak in his record. So his previous fights were mostly knockouts for the last 11 fights or so. Is it just me, or does Brandon need to step it up on his power? Do you think so, Kurtis, or does he lack power in his punches?
Well, he's more of a guy that wears you down. You have to be born with power. Like Neri is a hard puncher, or he's 31 with 24 knockouts. Brandon's just a guy that is not a one-punch knockout artist, so he relies on his aggression and his durability to wear you down. He's not a hard hitter at all, but when you fight in stiff competition, you can't fight like he does, because if you fight a more polished fighter, he can be outboxed. A guy like Neri or Noi, if they catch you one time, it's good night, Irene. But that's not a slight on Figueroa. That's a physical attribute that a lot of fighters don't have. Punchers are not made; they're born. So he relies on his durability more than anything. That's his strongest asset.
Okay, yeah. And he just throws a wealth of hits. That kid looks like he doesn't get hurt when he fights, man. He can just take punches, and he eats them punches, and he keeps on going. His stamina is great. I love watching him fight. Let me just get real quick before I get a little bit more to Brandon Figueroa, Willie Boy, slip and move. I've been once or twice. Oh, cool. Keep missing them as they are late over here. And where are you, bro? Willie, slip and move. Where are you? What country are you in? I'm sorry if it's late, man. My bad, right? Different timings, different time zones, things like that. But thank you so much for tuning in, man. Thank you so much. Definitely. Where are you, bro? Soccer Training Club. We got here saluting everybody. Everybody's saluting everybody here in the comments and chat. Thank you so much, man. So so let's get back to Brandon Figueroa. So you got in the division, okay? You got as champ Luis Neri, obviously. Brandon Figueroa, WBA champ, right? He has the belt there. Angelo Leo. So we're talking about who. I'm not too acquainted with that. I do know Neri because he's a Mexican fighter, commonly fought here. He's known here in Mexico. So, but do you have any specific opponent? Do you have in mind Kurtis, for Figueroa to fight next in the division? Yeah, you're there, Kurt?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute talking.
Oh, no problem.
I think it should be Leo next, because fights are easy to make. Figueroa can fight a lot of fighters. I want to see Neri or Noi, but back to Figueroa. After he cleaned out the division, he should move up. There's some challenges there. I forgot the guy who I really want to see, escaping me right now, but I'll think about it. But there's many fighters at the weights that he could fight And when you're dealing with lighter weight classes, fighters, they're always easy to make, like the Gomez's was, and the Laportes and the Salvador Sanchez's. They all fought each other. So this could be a golden era in the lighter weight divisions for Brandon Figueroa, Neri, Noi, those guys, Casemiro, hard punching Filipino guy, man. Them guys go at it. I like the lighter weight divisions.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the reasons, why I personally like the lighter weight divisions too is that, they just go at it, man. Those guys, it's just action. Reggie Owens, thanks so much for tuning in, family. He's busy. He's a little bit busy right now, Reggie Owens. That's why he's not here. So it's all good, man. Reggie Owens, thanks so much for tuning in, family. Family's up in the building right now. Speaking of these divisions, I saw something interesting, before we get to that, before I announce this, I'm not sure if people have seen this, but, this announcement. But who do you think would win, Kurtis, between, I don't think they've fought before. No, I don't think they have, between Brandon and Luis Neri?
Something tells me Brandon Figueroa would just throw too many punches for Neri, because I didn't like the way Neri looked. Alameda was an underrated fighter. Alameda was hitting him with that jab and the straight right hand. I wanted, Neri's moving up. So I don't know. I just got a feeling Figueroa will win. It will be a very good fight, but I don't think he'll hurt Figueroa. If he does, something just tell me about something. Brandon Figueroa will fight back even harder. It just seems like he has that type of dog in him, that intestinal fortitude. So I pick Figueroa to beat Neri.
We'll see sooner or later. Hopefully that goes down, man. That would be a great fight. So keeping our eye, on Brandon Figueroa. I love when he fights, man. Always, man. So just to let you know, Kurt, everybody's saluting you in the chat, man. A lot of people are jumping in here. We got the family jumping in, and they're saluting Kurtis. Everybody's saluting everybody, man. Thank you guys so much. Now this is an interesting announcement that I saw the other day. I don't think there is an official fight date, but I want to get kind of the input on Kurt on this. I didn't mention it, but I mean, so much news that comes out, so many fight announcements recently. So, just that's what I say about boxing, man. When it comes to sport of boxing, there are new things every day. So, this was on Instagram, okay, on Isaac Dogboe, man. Dogboe. I don't remember the pronunciation, man, but I call him Dogboe, right? Isaac Dogboe. He fought Navarrete twice, and he lost him, unfortunately, twice. I was going for Dogboe, as a matter of fact, to beat Navarrete, but Navarrete, man, he's just a... that's just another story right there, man. But, great fight. Both fights were great. But, what happened with Dogboe, he just tried to go in for the knockout in the rematch, and it just didn't happen. Navarrete using his size and, reach advantage. I mean, definitely to his advantage in that fight, but Dogboe, there was a fight announced, I think, that he's going to fight Michael Conlan. But I don't know exactly in which division. I don't know if it's going to be in the super bantamweight division. But Michael Conlan, he's going to fight, and if I'm not mistaken, it was announced, at least in Isaac Dogboe's Instagram, that they're going to be fighting soon, man. So Conlan, he's quite active. You constantly see him fighting, even though he doesn't have too many fights in his record. I don't remember how many, like about 20, something like that, or less. 14. I just checked right now. 14 fights approximately. So who do you think how do you think that fight would go out? Kurt, do you think that Isaac Dogboe, I wouldn't really say if he can come back. He just has a couple losses. I mean, but do you think he can bring a big impact in the division that he's in, Isaac Dogboe?
Well, they picking Dogboe because the Conlan team thinking that Navarrete took the fight out of Dogboe, which he did. Navarrete beat the stuffings out of Dogboe. It was just a bad matchup. But Michael Conlan doesn't overwhelm me. I see a lot of weaknesses in this game, a lot of holes. They try to hype him up, but he's not that good, to be honest with you. This fight will depend on Dogboe's boxing IQ, which is not that high. He has to stay close to Conlan and land the power shots. Dogboe can punch, and Conlan is not a big puncher, but he throws a lot of punches and try to wear you down. He's one of those fighters. I would like to pick Dogboe, but something tells me that Colin's going to win. I just got that feeling, you know, in the pit of my stomach, because Navarrete did take some fight out of Dogbay. It was just a terrible matchup. Dogbay can win this fight if, you know, if he uses strategy. But for some reason, I'm picking Colin to beat Dogbay, because I don't think he's that smart of a fighter, Dogbay.
Right, yeah, and that's the thing, you know, when Dogbay fought Navarrete, I mean, you can just see the different skills, man. You know, shorter fighters they can. I mean, they just depends on technique, man, and how they go in, you know what I mean, and how they fight bigger fighters and taller guys, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's the thing about Dogbay. He seemed quite limited when he fought Navarrete, and unfortunately, man, I really had my hopes high for Dogbay. I still do. But we'll see, man. Hopefully. I think it's around December. So keep an eye out, you guys, ladies and gentlemen who are tuning in. Derek Bailey, see you, bro. Thanks so much for tuning in, man. We are family. Y'all know, man. Thank you so much. So I think it's for December. So, I mean, that's just another interesting fight. I mean, great stuff, man. So, but I don't know what division they're going to fight in. I don't know if they're going to meet. I don't know if they're going to, you know, meet at a certain weight, but we'll see, man. Keep an eye on that. Real quick, we got here, but this is ahead. This is a little bit more ahead, but we'll might as well just ask it right now. We got Willie Boy Slip and Move. I want to jump to Curtis with this question. It says, Renee, quick question. Real quick. With Bob Arum saying no WBO mandatory for Ramirez and says might vacate if forced. Whoa. My question is, should Taylor fight him next if he vacates or wait for undisputed? My personal answer on that one would be, you know, Ramirez and Josh Taylor, go fight them, man. Go fight already. I mean, I want to see them fight. I mean, the world is, we all want to, you know, boxing fans and community want to see Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez. As a matter of fact, this just happened today. I think, I don't know, yesterday or something like that. Just recently, Josh Taylor, man. Jose Ramirez put out recently after the Josh Taylor fight that, you know, he was asked if he saw the Josh Taylor's fight against Khongsong. And he said, well, I didn't miss it because, you know, I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything because he heard that it was a quick fight. You know, it was a quick knockout, whatever. And Jose Ramirez said, you know, I didn't miss anything. So, you know, I guess he was trying to belittle Josh Taylor's performance, possibly. You know, I don't know. It's kind of questionable. And then Josh Taylor, you know, recently said, I think it was today or yesterday, that, you know, he wants to fight now. He wants to fight Jose Ramirez now. Josh Taylor got heart. He got that Scottish, if I'm not mistaken, he's Scottish origin, right? He got that Scottish fight blood in him, man. He wants to go and fight Jose Ramirez. So I think let's do the fight now, man. Let's do it as soon as possible. Hopefully this year, man, December, maybe in January, early next year, man. I want to see it. I want to see it because me personally, Willie Boy, this is just me personally, right? I want to get to Curtis in a moment, but me personally, I'm not too caught up with the belt thing. I mean, I understand. I mean, I respect it. I respect fighters who have belts and things of that nature. But the thing here is that, you know, I mean, generally speaking, this is why, because of sanctioning bodies. You know, sometimes sanctioning bodies, a lot of it is just for business. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I don't always you know, just give too much emphasis on belts. But I do respect the fighters who have belts, definitely. But then again, you see all these crazy things. You know what I mean? What have we been seeing recently? Franchise championship. I think that's nonsense. You know what I mean? Franchise championships, you know, where specific franchise champs, you know, those who are franchise champs get special privileges. They don't have to fight the mandatory of that division, and, you know, it's not counted against them and things of that nature. You know, that's why recently, the past couple of years, I haven't been too caught up with titles and belts, but I definitely do respect fighters who got the belts. I mean, of course I do. You know what I mean? Curtis, what do you think about that question? Do you see it right there on the screen?
Yes. Well, the number one mandatory, if you pay him step aside money, that clears the way for Ramirez and Taylor. It can happen. It's up to the mandatories and his team if they're willing to take step aside money so they can clear the fight for Ramirez and Taylor, and he could fight the winner. So I'm gonna keep my eye on this story. I want to see the fight, man. It's not going to happen this year, obviously, but it should happen sooner than later. First quarter of 2021. You know, now if the mandatory doesn't want to take step aside money, then you have a problem. Fight your mandatory, get him out the way, and then Ramirez and Taylor can fight. But he'll take the step aside money. So many fighters have done this, so this is nothing new. This is basically commonplace. Many fighters have took step aside money, and multiple times, like Alvarez, the Colombian fighter who beat Kovalev, he took step aside money multiple times, but you give him a nice check and tell him to, wait your turn, he will. So let's make this fight happen. It's good for boxing. Ramirez, Taylor and Josh Taylor.
Now, and this is actually the next point I wanted to talk about. Josh Taylor's performance on Saturday also. It wasn't in the PBC sector or card top rank, but it was, Josh Taylor, he's definitely worth watching. I said this earlier, I went live earlier just to talk about general boxing news and recent current news on the sport of boxing this morning. And I did mention just a little bit of Josh Taylor and Khongsong. Khongsong, he reminded me of Khongsong when he started fighting in the first round. It was just the first round, as you guys all know. But when he started fighting, I got kind of like, wow, that guy got some punches, man. He got some punches, and he tried to take Josh Taylor out. And I was thinking, yo, Josh Taylor, you got to be careful, bro. You can get hit. If you get hit, it might wobble you, man. So it looked like he had a lot of power in his punch. Khongsong reminded me of those, Thailand kickboxer guys. Those guys are tough, man. From what I know, I've seen Thailand kickboxing throughout the years, and those guys are tough. But I don't know if Khongsong, I don't really know of his record. I don't even think anybody has heard of him, really, with all due respect, But it looked like he packed a punch. It looked like, he was really hitting hard, and but it is what it is. Josh Taylor did his thing. He put him up against the ropes with his guard up. Boom, left punch. Nice left inside hit. On the gut, and it was game over. It was night, kind of like what Charlo did. We're going to get to that in a moment with Rosario, but man, he really took him out. What did you think about Kurt? Do you think that fight really proved something? That's kind of my question there. And what did you generally think? What did you generally think about the Khongsong fight against Taylor?
Well, one round doesn't prove anything. Fighting an inferior opponent. I know he could punch, but fighters come for Thailand. Don't want to stereotype them. They're strong and crude, and a crude fighter is not going to beat Josh Taylor. He left his body wide open. Like Rungvisai, those guys are strong and tough. Rungvisai is from where he's from. You have fighters like Kosai Galaxy, one of the best Thailand fighters ever. Call him the Todd Tyson. He had a twin brother. It was Kosai and Kosor Galaxy in the mid-'90s. But Khongsong was just there to be knocked out. So it really proves nothing. That was just a stay busy fight. It only lasted a round. So, you'll get these cupcakes sometimes. I don't mean to disrespect. I'm going to take that back. You get these fighters who's not quite as good as champions, and this what happens. It was a first round knockout. Not much to talk about. It was just Taylor sparring for like almost a round. He took him out. He did what he had to do. I just want to see Ramirez. That's all. That's the fight that should be made.
Definitely. That's what we're all screaming for. Definitely, man. Let me get to the chat real fast. Ogden, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't think I'll shout you out. Thank you so much, Ogden, for tuning in. We are family. You already know what it is, man. So let me get here real quick with some comments because there's interesting stuff to talk about. Willie Boy, Slip and Move says Jake Catterall has refused step-aside money. There are some out there that obviously, refuse step-aside money. We got here Tone Brown. Thanks so much for tuning in, man. I didn't see you. Thanks so much, man. Great stuff here, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. He said he's not taking a step. Not taking a step aside money. So we'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see what happens. We're gonna see how this all evolutionizes, how it all develops between Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez. But the boxing community is clamoring for it. And you guys already know the boxing community, the platforms that are out there, these promoters are listening. These people are tuning in. These businessmen are tuning in to make this fight happen. You know what I'm saying? So we know that they're tuning in. So, we have a voice, ladies and gentlemen. We have a voice. We're going to keep pushing it. Definitely. Well, L Dub is in the building. Thanks so much. What's good, Lawrence Willem? Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, guys, to like and subscribe if there are any new listeners in here. Thank you so much, man. Thanks so much, L-Dub. L-Dub said something interesting. Let me go down here. Y'all are commenting away. Awesome. Let me just get down here real fast, man, with what Lawrence Williams said right here. There we go. Josh Taylor performance over weekend was exactly like Spence versus Ocampo body shot. No, I don't remember how long Spence versus Ocampo was. What was it? The third round or something like that? Do you remember, Curtis? How many rounds did that go? 4 rounds?
First round.
The first round, oh my gosh, wow, I don't even remember, man. That was a while ago. Yeah, it was pretty similar. Yeah, I do remember that body shot. I do remember that. I just didn't remember how many rounds it went. So first round, wow, just exactly. Very similar. Wow. Interesting stuff. Right here, we got Willie Boy saying, Taylor said in post-fight interview that he absolutely had some pop. Yeah, I mean, Khongsong, it looked like it. I mean, when he was throwing them punches, man, it definitely did. Thankfully, that the good thing here is that Josh Taylor has good defense, so he's pretty skilled in that. So, Renee, I've heard of Khongsong. He was a 16-0, 13 KO. Wow. KO, 13 KOs. Okay. I mean, that speaks for those punches that I was seeing in round one coming into the fight with Taylor. Big right hand puncher. Yeah, definitely looked like that. I mean, I never heard of this guy in my life, with all due respect, man. Never seen him fight in my life. And it did look like he had power in those punches, man. Definitely, man. Thankfully, Josh Taylor played it smart, man, in the first round. So it was great stuff. I mean, so yeah, I mean, like Kurtis said, I mean, I guess it didn't really prove much, you know what I'm saying? But he took him out of the way, got him out of the way. So, we're clamoring for Josh Taylor, man, Ramirez. Hopefully that happens soon. Let me get here real quick. The longest reigning WBC champion in boxing now is from Thailand, 54. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. He got Gary by 4. Oh my gosh. Wow. Hey, the Jab Jamboree is up here. Act back on the attack. Go subscribe to the Jab Jamboree. Go subscribe to Reggie Owens. Go subscribe to Lawrence Williams. Go subscribe to Ogden Knight if you like gaming. Everyone's in the building, man. I thank you guys so much. We got people in the building. Khongsong had never been out of his country. Oh, okay. Out of his country fighting at that level. He was simply a stable. Yeah, just like Kurtis said. Yeah, to pad the stats. Yeah, I want to see Progress get a rematch. Ooh. Kurtis, do you think that would be I don't know, man, because I think personally Taylor would be Regis Progress again. I personally think so. I think he's on a little slightly, above Progress. I don't really see a reason why they would rematch, and this is Ellie Zachary. I didn't shout you out. Thank you so much, Ellie, for tuning in. I thought you were somebody else. Thank you so much for tuning in, family. Kurtis, do you think it would be nice to see them rematch?
No, I don't care to see it. Progress had his chance. I thought he was better than what he's shown. His defense is not as good as I thought it would be. Progress is a guy who looks good against certain opponents, and when it was time to step up against Taylor in a foreign country, he failed. I was very disappointed in Regis Progress. I want to see Taylor Ramirez. Anything short of that is a disappointment. Make the fight happen. Progress should fight somebody else. I don't want to see Progress versus Taylor. No. And
I personally don't want to see Progress versus Adrian Broner either. I don't, that rumor's going around. I mean, I get it. AB. I don't know about AB, but but yeah, I don't really see a reason for it. But I feel what you're saying, Ellie Zachary. I mean, possible Progress, but I don't think it'll even happen. You know what I'm saying? But hey, thank you so much, man, for that comment. Definitely, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here. So we have here just real fast because I want to get to some other stuff right here. With the cards that we saw. Renee, fun fact I learned yesterday. I didn't realize Taylor's last 5 opponents had a record of 110 and oh my what? I'm a fanboy from Scotland. Oh man, big ups to Scotland, definitely, man. I love it, man. I love it, man. Just Taylor's awesome, So I didn't know that, man. Interesting fact right there. Derek Bailey says here that who was it? What did you say here, Derek Bailey? I didn't catch it. It's because the comments are pumping out right here. Okay, so Taylor has Progress number. Oh, okay, yeah, man. So let's get to the next. There are obviously so many fights that went down, but I want to focus right now before we get to the main event too. Jermell Charlo versus Rosario. Jermell Charlo versus Rosario. Kurtis, I don't know. I don't remember how you predicted it, but before we saw the fight, we're on Blue Blood, and you were obviously on loads of other platforms that you're commonly on, with Stormy B and stuff. Did it go out according to your prediction, or did you see that Jermell was going to knock out Rosario before we saw the fight?
Yeah, I picked Jermell Charlo in 10. I was a couple of rounds off. Rosario is a big, crude fighter he's a puncher, but his defense is not that good. He leaves his body wide open. He throws the uppercut sometimes too far when he think he got you hurt. Power and aggression sometimes can work against a fighter. Many fighters who become aggressive, it can be fool's gold in that boxing ring. A lot of people say he was walking Charlo down. Charlo was trying to run him into shots. And the best way or the best time to hurt a fighter is when the fighter coming forward. Ali used to say that, and it worked out perfectly. Or either that or he was in the fighter that's aggressive, they're going to be in range. And I said it will be a left hook that will do the damage. He knocked him down a couple of times with the left hook. then it was the body shot. And a lot of people don't know that first jab was what we call a throwaway punch to blind him, because he knew that Rosario would have his gloves up. So he threw the jab, and then he went downstairs real quick, boom. And, I didn't know he would have that kind of reaction, but that's the solar plexus, man. And you have nerves down there, man. And he looked like a fish out of water. But Jeison Rosario, he took it well, not the punch, but afterwards, he thanked Charlo and thank God and thank people for staying with him. He's going to beat a lot of people, man, because he'd be a bad matchup for somebody like Lubin, and Tony Harrison. I could see him knocking out Harrison in the second half of a fight. I could see him knocking out Lubin in the second half of a fight, because Charlo is the best at that division, because he's very polished, and he showed it Saturday night. He has grit in him, dog in him. He can box, punch. He can box, and he will beat Rosario again. But it was tough. Rosario is not going to be an easy opponent because of his size. He reminds me of a Murky Sosa or Jorge Maisonet. That was a guy who used to fight on Tuesday Night Fights, who was a big puncher. That's who Rosario reminds me of. He leaves himself open. He should work on his defense. I mean, he tried to putting his hands up, but Charlo was fast. He has a terrific left hook, and he's powerful. He's powerful. You saw it Saturday night. And early in his career, he was a boxer. Then when he found out he could knock guys out, but what he did smart, he boxes sometimes and he punches. It depending on who he fight, he can adapt to that style. So Charlo. It's going to be a handful, man, because I said if both of the Charlos win impressively, they're going to become even better fighters. So I did pick Charlo in 10. It ended in 8, but I enjoyed the fight, and it went the way I thought it would go. I thought Rosario would be aggressive and determined, but at the end of the day, skills is pay the bills.
Definitely. And was it just me, or did it seem, on the build-up and throughout the rounds, did it seem like Jermall Charlo was fazed by Rosario's power?
You could tell in his face that he didn't want to get hit, because he did something smart. When you fight an aggressive fighter, you hold them because they got to reset. You could look at Trinidad and Hopkins. You could look at Mosley and Margarito. You can look at Tyson Holyfield. You can look at Ali and Foreman, or Leonard and Hagler. All of those guys are aggressive. So you clinch them because you use clinching as a defensive mechanism to thwart their aggression, because they have to reset. So that was very smart. And I could see that Derrick James told him to do that. So when Rosario would try to get momentum, because aggressive fighters need momentum, they use that to come forward. You grab them, so they have to reset all over again, so you mess up timing and plus distance.
Okay. Wow. I mean, that great insight. That's why I asked, because I personally saw it I kind of saw it like Jermell was probably getting a little, he felt the impact, which is why he was clinching. That's kind of what I thought. And I was like, uh-oh. And I was kind of, to a certain extent, worrying, like, oh no, Jermell, oh no, he's catching you, man. And you're feeling it, man, and that's kind of what I thought. And then when that round came about, what was it? Round 7? Round 8, right? Yeah, round 8. And they just jab upstairs and jab to the body. Boom. I mean, I was surprised. I was really surprised by, how he knocked him out. I actually thought he was going to knock him out with a hook or something upstairs, but man, to the body. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
He was trying to get close to Charlo so he tried to set Charlo up with the uppercut. And I knew what he was trying to do. When you have a certain eye in boxing, you can see things happen before it happens. Not being Nostradamus, but when you look at so many fights, thousands of fights, then you know what Rosario was trying to do. And Jermell held him. When you look at Ali and Frazier too, it wasn't an exciting fight, because we all know Frazier has that left hook and he wants to get close. So Ali clinched him 122 times in that fight. That was the reason. Yeah, that was the reason. You don't want a pressure fighter to get close. So you hold him. You know, sometimes you can walk him around, use your weight. If you're not bigger than him or stronger than him, you just hold him and push him off and let him reset again.
Ah, okay. Wow, 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 wow. Great input, man. So we got here in the chat, Ogden, the jab to the body was definitely vicious, man. Briscoe said something that I was thinking about it ever since I saw that knockdown, the knockout. Did he catch him on the exhale? Yeah, I heard that really will knock all the air out. That's what I thought happened. That when he went down, he was just gasping for air, man. I remember when I saw him go down, when I saw Rosario on the floor after that body shot, beautiful jab, beautiful stiff jab to the body, man. And he was just gasping for air. I was thinking that reminded me of when I would fall off my bike when I was a kid riding on bikes. Back in the day, we had bikes, man, to have fun, video games or whatever, but not really, we didn't have those smart, telephones and all that stuff that we have nowadays. We'd go out on our bikes and I would fall sometimes, man. Sometimes the air would get knocked out of me. I would just be gasping. I thought I would die, man. And it looked like that's exactly what happened to Rosario. Is that what you see happen, Curtis? Is that what happened? Did the air get knocked out of him?
Oh, definitely. You could tell the way his stomach was moving up and down. It's like a football player falling out of football. It knocks the wind out of you. That's what it reminded me of a football player. I've seen many of football players, get the wind knocked out of them because they landed on a football. It was perfect time punch, and he caught him breathing out. And that's why he reacted the way he did.
Wow. You still there, Kurt?
Yes.
I got you. And let's get to the chat real quick, man. So we got here, Rosario should have stayed on the outside and used a jab. It probably would have been a different game plan right there. Definitely, man. Do you think, Curtis, this interesting question that statement that makes me think. Do you think Rosario's corner kind of lacks experience on how to get at Jermell Charlo? Because it looked like to me the game plan wasn't really changing. What do you think about that?
That's good point you made. Yes, for a fighter like Rosario, you have to use your jab to fight any type of fighter, especially a polished fighter like Charlo. I don't care who it is, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, when they struggle, that's because they fought a fighter who can jab with them. That's why Ali had trouble with Ken Norton 3 fights. A jab is everything in boxing. So if Charlo was jabbing, 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come back to me, Renee.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. Okay, so we have here. So Rosario should have stayed on that. That's the thing. That Ogden bringing that statement out and me reflecting on the fight right now, because I always visually, when I'm speaking about a fight, I always have it in my mind. It's mental pictures, and when I go back to that fight and reflect on it, it makes me, because round after round, it looked like Rosario wasn't switching up the game plan. It was the same old thing, same thing. Great skills, obviously. He can box on the inside, power. But you didn't really see a change up. But that's the thing, Ogden. Exactly what Ogden's saying. Rosario should have stayed on the outside. Yeah, change up the game plan. And it looks like his corner really wasn't giving him a different game plan, a different strategy. It was up to round 8. Round after round, maybe he should have changed it up a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think that's what that contributed to Rosario getting knocked out like that, man. Definitely. Boxer Reggie Owens says here, yeah, Rosario walked in too far at that moment. Yeah, being too aggressive. He had Charlo moving. Yes. And Rosario got too got too comfortable. That was the dangerous part. He got too comfortable and he just thought he had it. Kind of like with Harrison, right? With Tony Harrison in the rematch. Looks like Harrison was getting kind of confident. He wasn't even getting kind of cocky. I remember Harrison was kind of joking around in the ring, after a couple power punches by Charlo, and he just got comfortable and boom, got caught hard. So definitely, man, definitely. Trick Nolte, hey, thanks so much for tuning in, family. Trick Nolte, thank you so much. We are family. You already know. Trick Nolte, I'm going to get at you soon, all right, at Facebook. You already know, right? Jab Jamboree says here, Rosario reminds me of Troy Waters, Kurt, how he fights.
I'm here. I'm back. I'm sorry for the distraction.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Troy Waters was a tough Australian fighter. If they wouldn't have stopped that fight against Terry Nars, he would have beat Terry Nars. I don't care what anybody said. He wobbled Terry Nars. He fought Trinidad. Trinidad took him out early. Terry Norris was a tough fighter from Australia, man. I was a Troy Waters fan. Tough, gave it all he got. Yeah, but like I said, the aggressive fighters, they can beat a fighter who's not a master boxer or unpolished fighter. But Charlo was just too polished. He had a lot of wrinkles, and that's the Achilles heels of a fighter like Rosario. You know, he will always struggle to beat a Charlo because his defense is not good enough and his footwork is not good enough. The only thing he can hope for is to catch Charlo with a big shot, you know. But I think he will fare well against. I would love to see him in Lara. He's going to get another shot because Lara the boxer and Rosario the puncher, but Rosario is going to be a handful for a lot of guys in that division.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, I'm definitely not knocking Rosario. You know, we all know, man, that dude got some skills, man. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting stuff. What's next for Charlo and I'm sorry for Rosario in the division? Definitely, man. Still got some great names out there you can fight, man. No doubt. Trick Nolte here. So in the chat, thanks so much, man. Ellie Zachary, that placement of that jab to the body was the exact same place Spence hit. Wow, I believe Derek James works on the targeting of that area with him. That's smart. Very smart stuff. And did you see Curtis, how comfortable Charlo was in the fight? Towards the end of the fight, he was comfortable, relaxed. I mean, to me, it kind of seemed when he was clinching, like he was like, you know, like kind of getting maybe phased a little bit by the punches. But then right before that knockout, he was completely comfortable. Like he knew what he was going to do. Boom, boom, game over. I mean, and did you see how he walked away from when Rosario went down? Like he knew it was going to happen, or was it just me seeing that? Did you see how comfortable, and it looked like he knew he was going to go down on that punch?
Well, that's the maturity levels of the Charlos. Even his brother, he reacted totally different than when he lost against Harrison in the first fight. He was emotional. He was even crying, you know, in the locker room. But you saw a very relaxed Charlo's brothers, both of them, in a very intense fight. So what that telling you is that's all about maturity. I think they turned the corner. Like I said, I just had a feeling if they can look impressive Saturday night, they're going to go on to like big things. I mean, they're 30 years old, so I say the next 3 or 4 years, they should be in high-profile fights, and you know they're going to stake their claim, have a legacy in boxing as twins.
Now, yeah, definitely, because we all look at different things. We all have different perspectives. And, you know, that's something that really stuck out to me when he knocked Rosario down. Just the way how relaxed he looked. I mean, he didn't look like, oh, wow, what a surprise, I knocked him down. No, he was just, it looks like he knew he was going to do that. Like he knew Rosario was going to go down. And he just walked away, you know, calmly. It was like, wow.
The old Charlo would have been yelling and pumping his glove in the air.
Yeah,
but he didn't do it. I look at everything. You know, the mannerisms of a fighter is very, very telling. When you look at a fighter and you study a fighter before the fight, during the fight, in between the corners, everything. I look at all that. That's why I'm able to predict fights. He knew it. He just waited. He knew it. He would power box. That's like boxing, and Shane Mosley's father coined the phrase power boxing, where you box and you slug and you pick which one you're going to do, you know, when it comes down to your opponent or, you know, the situation in the fight.
Man, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff right there, man. So let's continue down here in the chat, and we're going to get to the next fight, you know, reaction right here. So we got, Ogden, definitely, man. Charlo is a knockout art, and then knocking out Rosario with the jab like that. Wonderful straight jab. It was so beautiful. It was beautiful. That's going to stick to me. That's going to stick to me for a long time. You know, Elias Zachary says, Charlo, stay side to side, staying off the straight line. He also kept Rosario out of rhythm, tying him up. Yeah, exactly what Kurt was saying. Now that's something smart. I didn't even look at it like that. Obviously, I mean, honestly. So interesting stuff, man. So Willie Boy says here. Let me get to it real fast. It's not okay. Here we go. Oh, my bad. Props to the twins for real. Finally stepped up and got it done. I want to support them. So hopefully they kick on from here and don't go backwards. Yeah, just like what Kurt was saying. Definitely, man. So real quick before we're going to top this part off, at least with Jermell. So what do you see, Curtis? King of the division, Jermell Charlo, 154.
Yes, he's the best 154 pounder. That division can be bipolar because it's a pool of sharks. I want him to fight Teixeira to become to get 4 belts undisputed. Let's see what happens. I think they're going back and forth on Twitter or something like that. Teixeira and Charlo. I believe Teixeira said something. So he'll beat Teixeira, and he could fight Hurd. That's still a high profile fight. Lara is a high profile fight. You know, he could fight J-Rock. We don't mind those fights. All those fights can be made. You know, so I would defend my titles. I would try to become undisputed, you know, make some title defenses and then move up to 160. But no need, that's down the road, but no need, you know, stay at 154-pound division and make some title defenses.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the way I see it, man. Just stay up there. I mean, because you still got them great names, like just the ones you said right now. I mean, great names in the division. He could just keep claiming his territory, you know, keep claiming his territory and staying king in that division. Teixeira. So you think he can take Teixeira out with no problem, huh? Or maybe not no problem, but you see him taking him out?
Yeah, I see him beating Teixeira. I don't like to say any fighter is a problem. We found out what happened to Mike Tyson in Tokyo, Japan, when
Right.
you know, when they said no problem. But
Yeah,
he'll beat Teixeira. He should beat him. He could fight, like I said, Hurd, Williams, Castano. That would be a good style matchup because Castano is another pressure fighter. You know, so he can fight 4 or 5 people in that division, and they all would be good fights, high profile fights.
you know, and let's enjoy the ride, ladies and gentlemen. Let's enjoy it, because the thing here is that something that Curtis touched upon right now, that, and a lot of people don't see it, and now that opens up our eyes, it opens up our minds more in this aspect of watching fights. We're seeing, you know, history in the making with this guy, you know, with this champ, you know, with this lion, and we're seeing him mature more. You see, a lot of people don't really talk about those aspects. We're seeing him mature more, the way he reacts, the way he reacted when he knocked down Rosario. Calm, cool, collected. He was just calm, man. I mean, you know, we're seeing awesome stuff. We're seeing developments in the Charlos, you know what I'm saying? Specifically here, speaking with Jermell Charlo, we're seeing developments in his game, developments in his fighting game, and his emotions. Awesome stuff, man. I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this stuff. You know, what we're seeing in the fight game, obviously enjoying the time right now with Curtis, with his input. Definitely, just like what Reggie say right now. Encyclopedia, boxing encyclopedia. Exactly, man. I mean, all day. So let's get to the next, right? The main event here, the post-fight reaction as far as this. Neri, I mean, yeah, I want to get kind of to Charlo, man. I want to focus on them because they were kind of the highlights, you know, no disrespect, but just kind of because of the time also. So Jermall Charlo, Derevyanchenko, man. I mean, you know, I and it was fun. It was fun. Hats off to the champ, obviously, Jermall Charlo, and hats off to Derevyanchenko. Derevyanchenko put up a fight. I didn't think he was going to put up that good of a fight against Jermall Charlo. Man, what's your general?
Renee.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't hear the last part.
No, it's not. Oh, yeah. What's your general reaction on the fight with the Charlo Derevyanchenko? General reaction there.
Derevyanchenko fights at the wrong range, but he did hurt Charlo with a body shot. Charlo was hurt. He was hurt. He was hurt with a body shot. When you look at it again,
I remember that.
He weathered the storm. He's a good fighter, Derevyanchenko. I wish he would work on defense more because it's very easy to hit him. And when you're not defensive responsible and you fighting a champion or a top tier fighter within that division, then you're going to lose. Look at his face. His face looked like a pizza, man, you know, and eye closed and his other eye was busted. Charlo, he has a chance because Charlo was hitting him with them uppercuts, man, but it was the jab. There was a power jab like a Pinklin Thomas or a Sonny Liston. It was more like a power punch, you know. Charlo has a heavy jab, and it was repetitive. And he was hooking off the jab, and he was hitting Derevyanchenko with the uppercut off the jab. That's what won him the fight. Derevyanchenko fought with a lot of grit. He's very gritty. He's very tough. many middleweights would have been knocked out that night by the uppercuts. When you see it in slow motion, you can see his neck jerk violently, but he was hurt about 4 or 5 times, to be honest with you. He was hurt with a long right hand, but his determination and grit carried him in the fight. And I'm not surprised, because I said it would be a UD. So I was kind of on the mark with this fight. But one thing's about Derevyanchenko, he's very easy to hit, and people saw how good Charlo is as a middleweight. Now, I still don't think he beat Canelo. Canelo's not Derevyanchenko. People's going to argue me down, but I think people forget how good Canelo is. And even though Charlo shined Saturday night, and I'm a Charlo fan, I don't think he beats Canelo, because I seen mistakes he was making. He let Derevyanchenko get too close, and Derevyanchenko was throwing that double left hook. If he threw that double left hook often, then it might have been a problem for Charlo, because he was scoring with it, but he stopped doing it. It was the jab that was the difference in the Charlo and Derevyanchenko fight.
Yeah, I was worried when Jermall got hurt. Yeah, the jab. First, real quick, I don't know if you count rounds, Kurtis. I had the rounds approximately. I don't really note it down or anything like that, but I had like 8-4, 7-5. What did you see the rounds, Kurt?
I had it 9-3. There was a couple of swing rounds, but I had it 9-3. I forgot what rounds I gave it Derevyanchenko. I just thought Charlo was in complete control. I mean, he did get hurt, but I can tell when a fighter is in serious, trouble. But because he was holding and he got close to Derevyanchenko and he covered up his body and he was just trying to waste time. So I say, oh, he's going to weather the storm, But I had it 9-3 in favor of Charlo.
I think that's what the swing rounds got me inclining a little bit more to 7-5. I think that's what it was, the swing rounds, right? But the thing here is, it's interesting what Reggie Owens is saying, applying it to Jermall, all right? So Rosario has a great game plan, though. Definitely, it was working. Rosario made one mistake at this point in the game. Charlo is like Wilder. You have to stay sharp the whole fight. Yes, because all he needs is one shot. That's the thing here, that if you apply this with Jermall, okay, and Derevyanchenko, he was. I don't know if Jermall was letting Derevyanchenko go in, on the inside, but I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know, because did you notice, Kurtis? He was kind of like letting the gas, letting go of the jab in some rounds. Did you see that? Did you detect that, Kurt?
Yeah, he would let Derevyanchenko get in range so he can throw his uppercut, get closer on, because Derek James, that was part of the game plan, because they broke down film on Derevyanchenko. The way he positioned his body, almost like a Kasazu, they open for left and right uppercuts. It's a certain way that a fighter stands and his angle, you can hit him with the uppercut. That's what he was trying to do, but I just felt that all he had to do was throw the jab. It would have been easier, because he did get hurt because he let Derevyanchenko come in too close or too long. But Charlo jab is one of the is best in the business. Plus, he got a really good uppercut, man. He really does, man. That punch was just killing Derevyanchenko, man.
And I'm surprised Derevyanchenko didn't go down. That guy has a chin, man. That dude has a chin of steel, man. Derevyanchenko, shouts out to, man. Great.
Plus conditioning.
Great. And I noticed G5 got G5 in the building, man. Thanks so much for coming in. It was a while ago, man. I invited G5. How you doing, G5?
Hey, what's going on, Renee? Salute to you, my brother. I appreciate it. Kurtis Anderson, Kurt Sugar, aka the historian, OG. Salute to you, my brother. How you doing?
G5, man. You always give me props, man. So it was a nice to meet you, man. G5, man, and salute to you.
Oh man, for sure, man. Every time I see you on Blue, and I was like, I catch up when I get in there and call him. Like, yeah, Kurt know his boxing, man. So, man, salute to you and all those fights you done caught, man. Giving gems and game to the people who do not know or understand the sweet science. So salute
Thanks
to
a
you
lot.
on that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's all community. That's why I like to invite people, you know what I'm saying? And I saw G5, some time ago. I wanted to contact him so we can get up on a platform one of these days, on a live. And thankfully today we can get him in, man. So G5, so let's jump to you real quick, man. What's your general reaction on Derevyanchenko and Jermall Charlo fight?
Man, I think it was a good performance, man. A lot of people who are Charlo haters, whether it's Jermell or Jermall, they don't want to give credit because they put on a good showing and they did it better than somebody else that they feel like is their favorite. So I think he did a hell of a job. The ring generalship and just the experience of being in championship fights and defending your belt. They're getting wiser and smarter in the ring. They can box, they can punch, but like Kurt said, like he said, it's kind of like power boxing where you have an option. I can box or I can bang it out with them, or I can do both. That is when a fighter is really becoming a true complete fighter, because I can choose how I want to fight this person or this certain opponent. So I think the maturity level of both of them and just how they reacted to the win and how Mel reacted to the knockout, it was like they were in full control of their emotions and their actions. They didn't get too high, they didn't get too low. They was just like real neutral. So I was quite impressed with it. And Derevyanchenko is a game opponent. He may not be the biggest, but he's strong. He has a granite chin, and he can throw a lot of punches, and a lot of flurry of punches. Usually, once he turns on that switch, he doesn't come off. But I think it was a different animal in there with him, with Mal. That's why he had flashes of getting in his mode, and then he'll kind of slow back down. I think the power was kind of getting to him and just kind of getting frustrated. He got in on Mal, but I mean, when you box, you're gonna get hit. He couldn't get on him consistently, but he did have his moments and flashes in there, and it was a good fight. So I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm proud of the growth and where they're going. So whether they box or knock a person out, they're gonna be hell to beat, man. They're gonna be hell to beat.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Let's get real quick to the chat real quick. It says Trick Nolte, Jermall Charlo out there looking like, yeah, Frankie, the surgeon Randall with that. Exactly. Just exactly what G5 was saying too here. The jab. I mean, great stuff, man. Lawrence Williams, L-Dub saying Chenko looks like the bad guy off the movie Cobra who was sliced alone. Tone Brown, man. I agree. I think Canelo can beat Charlo. We're gonna get that in a moment. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get back to that real quick. I just saw right now Tone Bangers. Thank you so much, Tone. Thank you for tuning in. We are family. You already know what it is, man. Thank you so much, man. So let's get to that real quick. PGH, I didn't see you, bro. Thanks so much for tuning in also, man. Thank you guys all for jumping in the building, man. Y'all showing up and showing out as always, man. Thanks so much. Jermall beats Canelo. Too big and strong. Great jab and boxing skills. Stop to bring the Charlos. All right. Now the thing here is that it's exactly what Curtis is saying. That was my next question. First, let's get to Curtis. Okay, Curtis. Right now, as far as the division is concerned, who do you think Jermall should be fighting next? You know what I'm saying? Who do you think are some names out there that Jermall can face after this?
Well, he could face Murata. That'd be easy to make. He could face Eubanks. That's a natural rivalry because you have an American fighter and a British fighter. They both alpha males, Charlo and Eubanks. They will be talking smack to each other. It's a great build-up. Eubanks is an aggressive fighter, but his technique is sloppy, and he throws his punches too wide. I'll give it to Marlo. Charlo can hit him with the uppercut because he's wide open for it as well. And he's a hothead too. He doesn't know how to relax, and that will play into Charlo's hands. They should make that fight because that's a natural, and because of the rivalry between the two countries, I would like to see him fight Eubanks first, and then maybe Murata or Munguia, something like that. But I think Eubanks makes more sense, so that should be the next fight.
Now, the thing here is I don't know why people kind of ignore Chris Eubank Jr. I like him. I personally like Chris Eubank Jr. He fought Korobov, if I'm not mistaken. Jermall fought Korobov. And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, I don't know if you guys saw the fight, but when Chris Eubank fought Korobov threw a left, I think, or something like that. And I think his shoulder got dislocated or something like that. I think got shoulder dislocated and the fight was off. And it looked like a really interesting fight. I think it got called off the third round. It was fresh. And, it looked really, the commentators also were saying, oh man, this was going to be a really interesting fight. So, Chris Eubank Jr., man, I like his style. Like Curtis was saying, I mean, he has heart. A lot of people try to discard him, but I think that would be an interesting fight. What do you think, G5?
That's one of the people I feel like, he's not going to get the Andrade or the or the Canelo fight. So, much as we would love for that to happen, right, I just don't see it happening. So, Eubanks, he has like a regular title. He has something like a silver or something. I can't remember exactly what it is, but he has some type of title. I can't remember what it is. But, yeah, the Korobov fight, I was a little disappointed because he ended with an injury. So it's like, I can't give him full credit for that win, even though he did win. It's like, you have to show me some more. I need to see a recent complete fight. Korobov going out with an injury, there's no guarantee he was going to beat Korobov. So I want to see him really complete a fight or have somebody else, or I can see him go to 12. I've seen him do it. He doesn't have the best gas tank. I mean, he's athletic. He has some power. He has a good chin, but he is wild and he is sloppy. And that is a recipe for a puncher who's accurate to knock you out. Charlos have good punch placement. Punch placement and punch accuracy equals KOs. So, the uppercut will be there. Double up a jab and jump right into an uppercut. It'll be open. So I love to see it because Eubanks has been talking a lot. Get that out the way. Go ahead and beat him and, see what's the next phase for him.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, Chris Eubank, I mean, that's the thing about him, right? He does open up. Yeah, sometimes he throws some flurries, kind of like, not like Rosario, not the same, obviously. But yeah, I've seen him time and time again where Chris Eubank kind of does go. He was tight. He was nice and tight when he fought. Who's that guy that Canelo wants to fight? What the heck is his name? The guy that
Anthony Yildirim or something?
Yeah, Yildirim. Yeah, Chris Eubank fought him. I think it was his last fight. I don't remember. But Chris Eubank fought him, and he looked a little tighter. You know what I mean? But so I mean, if Chris Eubank doesn't correct that, you know what I mean, when he throws some flurries, he's throws some flurries back when he fought. If I remember, I forgot the guy's name, but you constantly see that with Chris. So, and that's the thing here. Is just exactly what G5 is saying, and Reggie Owens saying the same thing too. Here, saying timing and a crisp jab is all. Yeah, Jermall needs. For Chris Eubank. Exactly. So that's the thing here. So, I mean, it is what it is. So I personally think it would be a nice fight. But right, we'll see what happens. So now, what do you think, G5? I mean, I don't want to get too much on the topic, but I do want to kind of mention it because I don't think you just mentioned a moment ago, actually, that I don't think we're going to be seeing. I don't think we're going to be. But this is just me also. I mean, I agree with Curtis to that point that, I mean, Derevyanchenko went in on the inside. He hurt Jermall, and we know Canelo, man, he's a body guy. He it's not. How do you think that fight?
Well, I mean, Derevyanchenko, I don't think he really hurt Mal. I think he felt certain punches from him, but I don't think he really was hurt. He felt some punches. But for us to Canelo, I think he'll approach it different. He'll be still calm and he'll use his jab like even more against Canelo. Like to make him respect his range, to make Canelo try to work to get on the inside. Now, Canelo is very crafty with his upper body movement, his head movement. He does. I mean, his footwork is good, but it's not the best. Most of his defense and his movement come from waist up. So he can move though, but he's slick. So I got to give Canelo his credit. I mean, I don't, care for the, pay stuff, but the dude can fight. That's something I can't knock or ever take away from him. He can fight. So, I mean, it'll be a good match. I'm going with Charlo. I think just at this point now, just their mental fortitude to just being hated, being overlooked, and maturing and having a pay-per-view fight and they actually showing the growth of them as a fighter is going to come into play. It's going to be a hell of a fight, but I'll go with I want to say by decision, but I just the Canelo thing and his track history with the refs, it's going to be tough. It's going to have to be like a clear cut. And even then, if Floyd had a draw on his card, I'm not convinced that, you know, Maul won't have a judge saying it's a draw or a 5-round difference if the fight real close. So I hate to say it, he might have to go for the knockout Canelo to beat him, but that's kind of how it's looking because I don't think nobody's going to get the decision with Canelo. That's just, I mean, we've seen it. So I still pull for Maul though, and I hope they can get it done. You know, I hope Canelo stop ducking and, you know, cutting corners and ducking and dodging divisions every time, you know, you have Charlo or Andrade or either one in the division. It's like every time he's getting called out, he always a division above Charlo or under Charlo. It's like he's never going to stay too long in the same division because he know he's going to have to fight him. That's something I've just peeped over time, but that's my take.
Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely agree. I mean, you know, and I don't know, man. It's just that's what makes this a great matchup, you know, because I lean towards. I had Charlo edging it out before the Derevyanchenko fight, but I saw the Derevyanchenko fight. But, you know, I definitely see great improvement with Jermall, man, with his patience, also similar to Jermell. Wonderful uppercuts, great jabs, you know, but then he was letting Derevyanchenko in sometimes. It's like, oh, man, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And if you do that to Canelo, oh, no, you know, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of see it 50-50, man. That's kind of how I see it. It's kind of rough. That's kind of a rough estimate with me. 50-50 with them two guys, man, with them two champs. So, I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, so we have here Tone Brown saying that Eubanks has the WBA regular title at 160. Oh, okay. And I think L-Dub was saying here that Tone Brown, he is the WBA interim. Murata is the regular. Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah. So it would be nice to see him fight Murata also. That would be nice. Taco Beristain, I don't think I've seen you before here. He was crying wolf talking about Jermall, right? About a Canelo fight. They offered it to him, said so. He said no. Yeah, it's debatable, man. It's debatable. I mean, lots of back and forth, lots of apparent ducking and dodging and stuff like that, right? But, you know, we'll see, man. But, you know, the hope here is that they fight. The hope here is that they fight soon, but I don't see it happening soon. Curtis, do you think that fight will happen anytime soon? Maybe in a year or two, Jermall versus Canelo?
No, first we got to see if Canelo's going to drop down to 160. You know, if that middleweight division a thing of the past? I would love to see the fight. I think it will get big numbers. Charlo is a credible opponent. So it's a natural, you know, let's make it happen. I just, you know, let me explain. You know, Canelo, sometimes people, when a fighter doesn't move right outside the ring, and it may seem like he's ducking certain people, like people get on Crawford and Canelo for moving funny style, as we say in New Jersey, outside the ring. But it's not that. Fighters, they got strange quirks. They feel they could do what they want to do when they want to do it. And we want to see certain fighters fight other certain fighters. And when they don't do it, we lose patience. Canelo is a born fighter. Before anybody knew Canelo, I knew who he was when he was fighting out of Miami early in his career. And he was stolen. Yes, he was. He was stolen.
Yep.
And Oscar, who has a penchant for talent, got him and, you know, paid for it at the end. You know, he got sued, Canelo, for, I believe, $8 million. And that was that. They said, okay, you know, we'll take the money. And, you know, and because Oscar knew he had a star in Canelo. See, it was supposed to have been Victor Ortiz at first, but Victor Ortiz didn't have intestinal fortitude. That's why he kept losing. And Oscar tried to make him a star. When that didn't work out, he got Canelo. And then Canelo just took off from there. Canelo's a terrific fighter. See, it's hard to beat someone when you don't understand them. Canelo is a terrific fighter. I got him number 3 pound for pound behind Crawford, Lomachenko, then Canelo. Canelo has this move that nobody talks about. And I seen him do it against Kirkland, and I seen him do it against Amir Khan. Let me explain this move. He will fake the left jab and come over the top with the right hand.
Yeah.
He did it with Kirkland when Kirkland was against the ropes. He looks at your chest, and then he loops the right hand, boom, right on the chin. And he was patient against Amir Khan. He knew Khan was going to get off to a fast start, and people were saying Canelo was going to get outboxed. I was at this fight party with about 30 people in the room, my friend Craig house, and I says in the 4th round, I says the fight will be over in 7. And they's like, what? And I was like, Canelo, because I see what he was doing. He was throwing a left hook to move Amir Khan over. You know, I'm telling you, dude is something else, Canelo, man. He was moving him over. So he can set him up with that move. That's his signature move. He faked the jab, then he came over the top with the right hand, right on Khan's chin. And people was looking at me like I had a crystal ball. I said, no, I could see it unfolding. He was building blocks for a knockout. And I'm not saying he's going to knock Charlo out, but he's going to set Charlo up with that same move because Charlo is a big middleweight. He do it to lanky guys, but when he did it to Kirkland, because he was against the ropes, and Kirkland was looking at Canelo, and Canelo was looking at Kirkland's chest, and Kirkland thought he was going to go to the body, so he faked that, and then he came over the top. Yeah, I'll tell you, man, Canelo is no joke. You know, people, they don't like him with certain things because he's a diva. Well, so was my favorite fighter of all time. Sugar Ray Robinson was the biggest diva in boxing history. When you on a high plateau, as they say, heavy is the head that bears the crown, then they're going to make moves that you may not like. It always been like that in boxing. You know, and it's no different when in Canelo. So I look at things from the objective standpoint. Because I like a fighter, he may be the same color as me or personality, is not going to cloud my judgment. I go by what I see. I study these guys for hours, man. When you know, I'm home, you know, I work from home. I study these guys, and you know, and Canelo is a wicked body. You know, he got that wicked left hook to the body, man. You know, I seen Canelo stun, not hurt, stun, in the 11th round against Golovkin. But I found out something about Canelo. He has great resiliency, like Larry Holmes did. He straightened up real quick, and that was in the second Golovkin fight. I like Charlo, and I'm glad, you know, and I could be wrong. Boxing is so unpredictable, but I see Canelo beating Charlo by decision or maybe a late round stoppage. That's what I see. You know, I know you got some Charlo fans in there, but Canelo is a terrific fighter, man. And don't forget, he's experienced and polished, and he has a lot of moxie, but the experience will play a major part in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, talking about that signature move, my internet was kind of cutting off a little bit, but so talking about that signature move, he did it with Triple G also. I mean, you can see some clips and replays on that, how he looked at Triple G's like chest, and he went with the right hand, boom, because he was acting like he was going to go to the body, and boom, upstairs. I mean, so definitely, man, respect to Canelo. Got nothing to say against that, man, with his skills and stuff like that. Let me get to the chat real quick, then we'll get to G5 right now. We'll have about a few more minutes before we go off here. So let's go right here. We got Ellie Zachary talking about this. Yeah, Ronnie had success in the ladder versus Canelo. He might be able to put together a great game plan for Charlo. It's possible, man. Definitely, man. I mean, it's a big possibility. D. Hodge is in the building. Thank you so much. Thank you, D. Hodge, for jumping up in here. We are family, definitely, man. Love seeing you guys jumping in here. You know, throwing your comments in there. Ogden says, Canelo Charlo, I see a draw if they fight. Possibly, man. I mean, it would be a close fight, man. Close fights here. Ellie Zachary says here, Canelo IQ and ability is crazy. Wow. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I hope it does fight. I hope it happens soon, but, you know, more than... Yeah, you guys hear me? You guys good?
Yeah, we good. I'm going to say something, too, what I forgot.
Go ahead.
Mayweather said something when he beat Canelo and Pacquiao. He said it's not easy beating fighters like that. And that went over a lot of people's heads. But I knew he was talking about, now we see Pacquiao beating young fighters and still at this age. And we see Canelo, he hasn't lost since. Canelo is a guy, man, who can break you down, because the trick to beating Canelo, you got to use your feet. Because he wants you to stand in front of him with your shoulders squared. You can't do that. I don't care who the hell you are. You can't do that. And because he's going to set you up. So the trick of beating Canelo, use your jab and move. Look at Mayweather and Lara. That's not coincidence. You got to move left to right, right to left, backwards. Mayweather was moving all around to disrupt, his timing. But Charlo, he can't fight Canelo standing and just jabbing, because Canelo going to time one of those jabs, and you don't want to get hit by that guy. So if Charlo can work on his footwork and keep a repetitive jab, it will be very interesting.
What makes me think that's what makes me think like this fight will be really competitive if Charlo does that. Uses his footwork, uses his jab, keeps the distance, doesn't let him go in like he did a little bit with Derevyanchenko. I'm not saying he did a lot, no, but those things are, and I'm sure, I mean, Jermall, he has the ability to grow in those aspects. I mean, we see what he did with Derevyanchenko. The brothers, both brothers, generally speaking, they got definitely the skills to grow in certain aspects of the fight game, man. Underrated Darkness, thank you so much for tuning in, family. Thank you, guys. Y'all remember to share. Go ahead and like and subscribe. If there are new listeners here, go ahead and subscribe. Go subscribe to G5 also. Go subscribe to the family here that are in the chat, man. We are all love. We are one family. Thank you guys so much. Remember to share also. Feastus Audio. I've never seen you before, but thank you so much. I haven't seen you in the chats. Thank you so much. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like. We're one platform for the whole community, man, of boxing, man. Definitely. It's all love here, man. So G5, any last words? I know you answered kind of late, but definitely we're going to have you on more, G5. Any last words, fam?
Any last words, man? Appreciate you, allowing me to come on the platform with you guys, man. It's always a pleasure. I always tune in, whether it's on your channel or Curtis on Blue Blood, or, with the Three Wise Men, or whatever the case might be, man. I appreciate, just real good boxing knowledge and people who understand the sweet science, man. So, I appreciate both you guys. You guys stay safe out there, man. To the chat, y'all be safe. And that's all I got for y'all. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so definitely you guys go ahead. Go ahead, Curtis. Go ahead, Curtis.
No, I just want to say salute, G5, man. I'll see you in the chats, brother.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're quick. Let's get this comment. Ellie Zachary, I think if DAZN doesn't let him fight soon, he will have to vacate. He's talking about Lawrence Williams, talking to Lawrence Williams, right? But they may take Eubanks for the UK. Interesting stuff. We'll see what happens, right? Curtis, any last words, bro?
Yeah, man, this has been a great boxing talk as usual, man. You got a great channel. Renee Boxing, I love being out here, man, and we can talk boxing as a community. Shout out to the chat, and I think I'm gonna go watch some old fights, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. All this talk, man, definitely wants me to get back to go. Curtis, where can they find you on other platforms, other shows you got going?
Oh, yes, indeed. You can find me on Blue Blood Sports TV. I'm the co-host. We usually come on 3:30, 4 o'clock, sometimes 4:30. And you can find me on the Three Wise Men of Boxing. That's with Stormy B Man and Scrapbook Boxing. Yeah, everybody say your prayers to Scrapbook. He's going through something right now, health-wise, man. That's Three Wise Men of Boxing, Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Definitely, man. Y'all heard the times, and definitely prayers up for Scrapbook. Before we leave, guys, family, y'all already know who it is. She goes on Blue Blood, constantly supporting Blue Blood. Dalia Antoinette, man, prayers up, for some physical issues she had, man. This is like her 7th surgery, man. So please, prayers up for her, man. Shouts out to, Dalia, man. Wonderful sister, you know what I'm saying? So please, prayers up for her, prayers up for Scrapbook. We live lives and things happen in our lives, man. So prayers up for the whole community here, definitely, man. So G5, definitely. G5 and Curtis, can you guys stay on just about a minute after this?
Yes, indeed.
Right on, man. Thank you guys so much, man.
Sure.
Yeah, cool. All right, perfect. Okay, guys, thank you guys so much, everybody. Remember to share this. Go ahead and share this with the boxing community. Thank you guys so much, man. I had a blast with each and every one of you. Thank you again so much, Curtis, G5. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you so much. Till next time. Peace out, fam.
Peace.
All right, just wait a moment.